What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. There is a lot of stuff to go over today. Seriously, we're a pretty packed show. We have to go over a couple different things when it comes to Call of Duty sales, because not only did it impress, but it also kind of disappointed at the same time. We're going to go over both of those aspects there. We did have a big PlayStation 4 exploit that went around, and it's still kind of going around now, so you're going to want to, I guess, keep an eye on that. Then we also had an Animal Crossing Trademark pop up that is making a lot of people wonder, what's going on here, and is this a new game, or is this just them doing a trademark? We're going to talk about all of that. First, though, let's start with some of the quick news. I'm actually going to start right away with games that are coming out this week. If you have missed it at this point, Starlink is coming out tomorrow. I think a lot of people are going to buy it on the Switch because it has, of course, Star Fox is in it. He seems to be a big part of the game because they keep showing him in every single advert, and they seem to keep pushing heavily towards a Switch release over everything here, so that's probably the system I would assume to get on. NBA Playgrounds 2K is also out tomorrow. Maybe be careful with that one just so we can see how many, if there are a bunch of microtransactions in there or not. I'll get it though and check it out and let you guys know. And then probably the next biggest release this week is more than likely Soul Calibur 6. I think a lot of people are really looking forward to that. We had the beta. People seem to like it. That's also coming out later on this week. So a bunch of stuff to play, and looking forward to Starlink. I'm not a big Soul Calibur person, but I might check it out just to see what people think of it. I'm not a big fighting game person either, though. So I guess right now, Starlink is probably the one game this week that I'm really looking forward to. And I'll be picking it up and letting you guys know what I think of it. We also need to talk a bit about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's a game that I've actually liked, but I think many others, have questioned the possibility of an artificial grind that is present in the game to push you towards the experience boosters that are there in the cash shop. It's something that's always present, something that I think a lot of people look at and say, it's odd that that would be there. That would usually be a cheat code that I would put in back in the day that would give me a broken game because I just get a bunch of experience, but it's there for $10. It's interesting. Well, another person on YouTube actually took a look at this, broke it down and did the math, and yeah, there appears to be a grind. Specifically towards the middle and late game, there appears to be a spot where you do hit a bit of a wall and you have to go out and either grind away with side quests for a bit or maybe just run around killing people to level up. It does appear to be there, though. In fact, this is from Tim. He actually did a full, just ran all these numbers and found out that if you have the experience boost, you're pretty much always over leveled throughout the game, so it's much easier, and if you're not, you're generally under leveled for everything you run into. So it looks like, based on the math, yeah, there's an artificial grind there, and it's a shame because the game itself is good, like the actual game is, but I feel like Ubisoft just threw that in there, and unfortunately it kind of undermines a lot of the awesome work that the developers did for this game. It's still fun, but man, that artificial grind does hurt it. And in interesting news, it appears that Sony is actually censoring or asking Xseed just to take out a mode in Senran Kagura. They actually posted on Twitter that the game would be delayed slightly because of this, and you're seeing the tweet here where they say the release of Senran Kagura Burst Renewal will be slightly delayed as we remaster to remove the interactive intimacy mode from the PS4 version. The Steam version will release with the mode intact and will launch simultaneously with PS4. We are looking forward to sharing the release date shortly and appreciate your patience. So this obviously is not good for gamers, as this pushes the game back. It also seems to push the Steam version back, which was odd, but I guess they want everything to release across the board, and they say the Steam version will be fully intact. Now, the intimacy mode seemed to have been a point of controversy anyway, and it just seems like Sony is not comfortable with it being on the game. However, Tom actually says, who was actually working with the game, says that it appears that it has to do more so with the interactivity rather than the content itself. So it looks like Sony is just, I guess, cracking down on this stuff. It's interesting to see this. It's a shame that it caused the entire game to get pushed back. I don't know why Sony wouldn't have asked them to do this sooner, but I guess maybe the last quality check or the last pass, they saw it and they said, yep, can't have that in, so take it out and we'll release it later, and I guess that's happening. This is interesting because there's a lot of people really annoyed about this in that Twitter thread, just talking about it because it's seen as censorship. People from Limited Run Games I've seen have actually spoken out about it. It's frustrating, definitely, but let me know what you guys think about this down below, because I think everybody has at least an opinion on what's happening here with Senran Kagura and Sony. Also, this is now the universe we live in, guys. Nintendo is fine with Senran Kagura. Sony does not want parts of it in. How weird is that? Oh, and real quick, Dragon Quest Builders 2 fans, it looks like there will be a demo before the full version comes out in Japan, December 20th. The producer actually talked about this on a live stream where they say they are starting to build a demo for people to play, and it will release before December 20th. So sometime before the full release, you'll be able to download the Dragon Quest Builders 2 demo. So get a Japanese account ready on the Switch, because I assume they're releasing it on, I guess it'd be the Switch and the PS4, but of course, the Switch is region free. You can go on there and you can download it and play it. I know you can also make a PlayStation Network Japanese account, but I do know the Switch, I've used that a bunch of times, so make sure you have that Japanese account ready to get Dragon Quest Builders 2 and the demo. I'll let you guys know when that is announced and what day it's coming out in the near future, hopefully weeks before the official release date, December 20th. Okay guys, some of the quick news out of the way. Let's jump into some of the bigger stuff. We're starting with a fan project right away, and I know what you're thinking. Why are you talking about this? Because it's just gonna get cease and desisted, because they always announce these things as soon as they start working on them, or within, you know, a few months of them working on it, not a lot of development happening. Well, check this out, because this has been in development apparently since 2011, and it's looking like it'll see release in 2019. It actually looks like it's mostly done, or at least to the point where they're ready to be playing it. And this is kind of neat because it is a callback to the old Mortal Kombat, the one you may have played in the arcade or even on your Genesis or your Super Nintendo, depending on which side of the fence you were on there. This, as you're seeing here, is called Mortal Kombat HD Remix. And yes, check it out. It is actually like HD looking at everything, like they're changing everything up. It started as a Mugen project. I think I'm saying that. It's either Mugen or Mugen. That's another word I always see, but I never say out loud. But it actually lets you customize and create essentially your own fighting game. And now it's becoming Unreal Engine 4. And what they're trying to do here is create a pixel-perfect arcade remake of the original Mortal Kombat trilogy using new 3D models they have created, and it looks so cool. Like, if you see like the visuals of it, there are a lot of different screen grabs going around for it and everything. It just looks so neat. It looks like old school Mortal Kombat brought up, so it looks good on your actual high definition display and everything. And I really like the idea of this. And the thing about this is Warner Bros. Could absolutely cease and desist this. I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. Because they are saying that they cannot, the project lead says they cannot legally comment on this until early 2019, which makes me wonder if it's basically ready to go and that's when they're going to look to release it. Because, like I've talked to you guys, we talked about GoldenEye 25 the other day, there's a chance that gets cease and desisted before it gets out the door. But this Mortal Kombat game, I think, is basically ready for release. They're maybe checking avenues to make sure they're in the clear. And then I think we're going to have a full HD remix of Mortal Kombat, and I am excited. I'll keep you guys up to date, especially if it does come out. Then we can all download and play old school Mortal Kombat in, I guess, 4K. Next up, let's talk a bit about what appears to be a glitch going around on the PlayStation Network, and it happens specifically if you get a message with certain text and symbols, it will actually glitch out your PS4 essentially and make it so you can't do much of anything. In fact, people are going in and pretty much clearing or just wiping, pretty much factory resetting their PS4. Now, it doesn't appear that you have to do that, but there are some precautions you could take and there are ways to fix it if you get this message, which I'm going to go over here. Now, the first thing you want to do, I would say, is set your messaging to private so that you won't receive a random message from just somebody who wants to pass this around, because there was also word going on that there were bots that were actually sending these messages out to not necessarily brick your console, but definitely damage it to where you have to take some extra steps to get out of this weird glitch that's going on here. So if you do get this, you can go onto your phone app for the PlayStation account and actually delete the message there. Or you can go through the back office of your PS4. There is a service menu you can get to by holding the power button down, and you go in and you actually rebuild the database. That won't delete your stuff, but it'll clear out cache and temporary files, and they'll actually get to the point where you can go back in and delete your message and you'll be back to normal. You don't have to delete everything on your PS4, but the precautions you want to take now, because we haven't heard from Sony. They haven't put out a statement as of now. You just want to make sure your stuff is set to private. And then if you do get this message and you are having an issue with your PS4 turning on, go into the back service menu, rebuild the database, and then go through your phone and delete that message that's in your inbox. That should fix it. As for this exploit, I have no idea why this is happening or what's going on here, but this is something that's kind of happened with other systems and stuff in the past, and Sony will just have to put out a hotfix for it, and quick. It's going to have to be like done soon, because this appears to be affecting a lot of people. There are posts on Reddit where they had played with someone on Rainbow Six, and then everybody in their party got a message, and just opening the message ended up freezing up their PS4, and it wouldn't really do much after that. They ended up resetting, but you can just rebuild. So we'll see what Sony puts out there. I just wanted to pass that along just in case, and I'll let you know when Sony does respond to this and when we're in the clear. Now, you can also set to friends only. Just be careful with anonymous messages going around right now because, well, the internet's full of people who aren't very nice. Next up, let's talk about this interesting Animal Crossing trademark that appeared. Japanese Nintendo spotted it and reported on it, and it appears to be a trademark for Animal Crossing on the Wii. If you remember Animal Crossing back then, it came out on the Wii. It did pretty well overall. It was a fun game. But it was also named something different outside of the US. It was actually named Let's Go to the City, which here in the US was actually called City Folk, Animal Crossing City Folk, or Animal Crossing Let's Go to the City. And a lot of people are trying to figure out what this would be for. The purposes of the trademark include program for a home video game machine. And there's a good chance that they may have just re-upping this trademark just because maybe it was running out. This was from 2008, so we're, up 10 years now over it. So maybe they had to redo it. Or the other theory is maybe they have plans to bring this to that NVIDIA Shield TV that's in China that already has things like Twilight Princess and Super Mario Galaxy. Maybe they have plans to move Animal Crossing to it. That's another thought because it is for more or less the international title, I guess, for Animal Crossing that'd be outside the US that they would, I guess, use in China. So that would be interesting to see it there, but I think it would also be kind of frustrating because we see all of these games not go to the Switch, but go to a different system that has a Tegra processor in it. So, I mean, they could bring these games to the Switch. I'd be curious how many people would pick up on it now that we have Animal Crossing coming out. And I don't really think Nintendo wants to compete with themselves, release this Animal Crossing for the Wii and then this Animal Crossing for the Switch. I don't think they want to do that. They want one Animal Crossing on the Switch, and that's their plan for 2019. I think if they're doing anything with this, it might be for that that Tegra chipset in that NVIDIA Shield TV that is in China, and specifically in China. I'm sure that'll make people really happy, although we do at least get an Animal Crossing in 2019 for the Switch specifically, so I think most people are fine. But still, it'd be kind of cool to see this come over, but it's probably not. And our last bit of news, let's talk about Black Ops 4 and the initial sales numbers, because according to Activision, they are very, very good. In fact, if you take a look at the PC version as an example, it's actually doubled the sales of the PC version, although it's probably not hard to do, like last year's PC version. Probably not hard to do since this is the first time they've really put a lot of effort into the PC version for Call of Duty. However, they also go on to say that this is the biggest digital launch that they've ever had on the PlayStation Store. Apparently, this just set straight up digital records for the entire PlayStation Store, according to Activision. They also said this is the best selling Activision digital game on the Xbox. So they had to kind of say that. A little different there, but it sounds like it was very well received overall, and surprise, surprise, this is probably going to be the best-selling game of the year, and it's Call of Duty Black Ops 4. They go on to say that this game has achieved Activision's biggest launch day digital sales, and that is over Destiny 2, which is included. However, there was one interesting thing that's come up from GameIndustry.biz, because it appears that Black Ops 4 actually declined by 50% in the UK for physical sales from Call of Duty WW2. So it's setting digital records, but it's declining heavily on the physical front. Interesting. I mean, we kind of know that the digital age is pretty much ramping up. It's kind of upon us. I mean, we're going to get disk drives and physical media in the next systems. We kind of already know that, but maybe not the system after that. We'll see, because it does appear that as much as people want physical copies, it looks like digital is selling way more than physical. Although, to be fair, this was barely a physical game, as if you got the game anyway, you had to download 50 gigabytes worth of a day one patch to play the game. And when I looked at it on my system, the digital version was like 52.96 gigabytes. So what are you actually downloading there? I don't know. It seems more and more like this was a disc that had a DRM code on it anyway. I mean, it sounds like the Blu-ray was actually full anyway of stuff, but it seems like they replaced all of it anyway in an update. So I don't know what happened there. But yes, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, big success in its first few days. Surprise, surprise, right? It's Call of Duty. But it seems like Blackout has really helped this game along, and yeah, I get it. I mean, the game itself is good for a Call of Duty game. It really is. It's fun to play. Blackout is fun. It's a way more refined PUBG, so I'm sure a lot of the PUBG fans are going to it. And it's Battle Royale coming out in a time when Battle Royale games are hot, so guess what? It sells. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button. Really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is Call of Duty setting records, digital records, not physical records, digital records, at least in the UK. We'll see what it does in NPD. I have a feeling, yes, it's going to top the charts in NPD in October because Red Dead's only going to have a couple days in there anyway. Also, let me know what you think about the exploit for Sony with the messages or the Animal Crossing Trademark. Very curious there as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We do this every weekday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.